Ronald Acuña Jr. plays baseball as if he discovered an undocumented cheat code for real life, transforming what we thought was possible into a mere suggestion. Seriously, the guy is practically an exploit, rendering decades of conventional wisdom about player archetypes completely obsolete. Picture this: you're a professional baseball player, a seasoned veteran, someone who's seen it all, from the slow-dusted knuckleballers to the triple-digit flamethrowers. You think you have a handle on the game, you understand its rhythms, its probabilities, its unspoken rules. Then, Ronald Acuña Jr. steps onto the field, and suddenly, your entire baseball lexicon shrinks to a single, bewildered, "Wait, what just happened?" He is the human equivalent of throwing a wrench into the meticulously crafted gears of America's pastime, not because he breaks the rules, but because he plays by a version of them that only he seems to have access to. For generations, baseball purists and even casual fans operated under a relatively simple categorization system: you were either a power hitter, a speed demon, or perhaps a defensive wizard. The idea that one player could not only dabble in all three but utterly dominate them was largely relegated to comic books or overly ambitious video game character creators. Then came Acuña, strolling out of La Sabana, Venezuela, like a glitch in the simulation, a walking, talking, base-stealing, home-run-smashing refutation of every established archetype. He arrived not merely as a talent, but as an existential crisis for opposing managers, who suddenly had to explain to their pitching staffs why the guy who just launched a ball into orbit was now sliding headfirst into second base, having arrived before the throw even left the catcher's hand. His very presence on the diamond screams unorthodox, a vibrant, almost rebellious energy that crackles through the stadium. It's as if he decided, one sunny afternoon, that the traditional player mold was simply too restrictive, too boring. Why settle for being merely great at one thing when you can be hilariously, unapologetically excellent at everything? This isn't just about statistics, it's about the sheer audacity of his play. He sprints to first base on a walk with the same ferocity he employs to chase down a deep fly ball, suggesting that every single moment on the field is a high-stakes, maximum-effort endeavor, often to the profound exasperation of anyone trying to contain him. The subtle humor, of course, lies in the fact that contain is rarely a successful strategy. It's more of a wistful hope, a polite request that Acuña typically ignores with a dismissive flick of his bat or a sudden burst of speed. He is the walking highlight reel that makes other highlight reels look like instructional videos, a perpetual motion machine fueled by an unshakable confidence that borders on gleeful mischief. And it's in this chaotic, beautiful, utterly dominant world that we begin to unpack the specific moments that define his singular, almost unbelievable journey. Consider, for a moment, the opening salvo of a baseball game. The lead-off hitter steps to the plate, the pitcher winds up, and the dance begins. For Ronald Acuña Jr., this dance often resembles less of a waltz and more of a demolition derby, where he's the only one with a monster truck. He once hit a lead-off home run and stole 2 bases in the same game before many fans had even settled into their seats, proving his multi-tool dominance was not merely a theoretical concept but a living, breathing, terror-inducing reality for opposing pitchers. Think about the sheer audacity of that sequence. The opposing pitcher, still settling into his groove, trying to find his rhythm, has just watched his first pitch disappear over the wall, a defiant "good morning" from Acuña. The stadium is still buzzing, people are still high-fiving, perhaps still retrieving their dropped nachos, when the very same player, not content with merely putting a run on the board, decides he also fancies a couple of free bases. This isn't just about raw talent, it's about a strategic, almost mischievous application of that talent. A lead-off homer is a statement. 2 stolen bases in the same inning, immediately after, is a declaration of war, a personal affront to the opposing team's pride and defensive strategy. It's as if Acuña looked at the traditional baseball scoreboard and thought, you know what? This could use a little more chaos, a little more "what the heck just happened" energy. He isn't just accumulating stats, he's actively dismantling the mental fortitude of the opposition, one spectacular play at a time. The irony here is delightful. Teams spend countless hours analyzing tendencies, developing game plans, preparing for every contingency. And then Acuña strolls to the plate and, within a matter of minutes, renders all that meticulous preparation null and void, not with a single, isolated act of brilliance, but with a rapid-fire sequence of jaw-dropping athleticism that suggests he's operating on an entirely different plane of existence. He doesn't just show you what he can do, he parades it in front of you, with a confident smirk, daring anyone to try and stop the inevitable. It's a psychological masterclass delivered with a bat and a pair of extraordinarily fast legs, making everyone else in the ballpark feel like they're still stuck in slow motion. This level of immediate, multifaceted impact isn't just rare, it's a testament to a player who views every single plate appearance, every single moment on base, as an opportunity to rewrite the script, often with a mischievous flourish that leaves everyone else scratching their heads and wondering if they accidentally wandered into a video game highlight reel. Now, if you thought Acuña Jr. was merely content with terrorizing pitchers from the batter's box and torturing catchers on the base paths, you clearly haven't witnessed the full, terrifying spectrum of his capabilities. His defensive prowess is not just a footnote, it's a headline act, a breathtaking display of raw athleticism that defies conventional outfield play. During a game, Acuña Jr. once uncorked a throw from deep right field to nail a runner at third base with such preposterous precision and velocity, it appeared to bend the very fabric of spacetime, making a routine triple attempt look like an ill-advised stroll through a minefield. Imagine the scene, a ball smoked to the gap, the runner on first base, head down, chugging towards third, convinced he's got an easy bag. The crowd is roaring, the announcer is anticipating a routine three-bagger. Then, like a bolt of lightning from a clear sky, a white blur streaks across the infield, arriving at the third baseman's glove with such perfect timing that the runner, already committed, can only slide helplessly into an out. It wasn't just a throw, it was a carefully calibrated missile, a laser-guided projectile launched from what felt like a different zip code. The subtle humor here comes from the audacity of the runner who dared to challenge the arm of Ronald Acuña Jr., a challenge that often ends in public humiliation. It's a moment that silently screams, "Did you not get the memo? You don't run on this guy." This isn't just about having a strong arm, it's about the instincts, the anticipation, the sheer physical command that allows him to position himself, unleash the cannon, and hit his target with surgical accuracy, all while making it look like he's just tossing a ball to his dog in the backyard. For years, we've heard about the mythical, five-tool player, someone who can hit for average, hit for power, run, field, and throw. Acuña doesn't just check those boxes, he redefines them, stamps them with his own brand, and then probably invents a sixth tool just for kicks. His outfield play isn't merely functional, it's a performance art, a demonstration of what happens when elite athleticism meets a competitive fire that refuses to be confined to any single aspect of the game. He isn't just preventing runs, he's sending a message, loud and clear, across the diamond: "This is my territory, and if you dare cross it without express permission, prepare for an unexpected, and frankly, embarrassing, exit from the base paths." It's the kind of play that makes coaches pull their hair out, not because of what their player did, but because of the sheer, unmitigated genius of what he did to stop them. It's a highlight that replays in your mind, forcing you to question the laws of physics, and simultaneously makes you wonder if this player actually has a remote control for the baseball. And now, we arrive at the statistical crescendo, the moment that truly cemented Ronald Acuña Jr.'s legacy not just as an elite player, but as a statistical anomaly, a glitch in the matrix of baseball history. We've always talked about the hallowed 40-40 club, a benchmark of combined power and speed so rare, it almost felt like a whispered legend. Only 4 players had ever achieved it before him. It was the Everest of individual performance. Then, Acuña, with a dismissive wave of his hand, apparently decided that Everest simply wasn't high enough. In a season where most players are lucky to excel at one niche, Acuña Jr. managed to be the only player in baseball history to record over 40 home runs and over 70 stolen bases, essentially winning both the sprint and the powerlifting competition simultaneously, and often against his own prior statistical limits. This wasn't just joining an exclusive club, it was building a private, more opulent wing onto it, complete with velvet ropes and a no-entry sign for anyone else. 40 home runs is a season for the ages for any slugger. 70 stolen bases is an extraordinary feat for a pure burner, a throwback to the days of Rickey Henderson. To combine them, not just in the same season, but with an almost casual consistency, is less a display of skill and more a complete rewrite of the player handbook. It's like he woke up one morning and thought, you know what? I think I'll just casually shatter a few long-standing statistical barriers today, just for kicks. The irony here is that he made the previously unthinkable seem almost inevitable. His 2023 season wasn't just a career year, it was a paradigm shift, a statistical earthquake that rumbled through the foundations of how we analyze player value and potential. Analysts, statisticians, and even seasoned scouts were left scrambling, trying to update their models and recalibrate their expectations, because Acuña had just rendered their previous definitions of superstar charmingly quaint. It wasn't enough for him to hit monster dingers, he had to sprint around the bases like he was escaping a particularly grumpy velociraptor. And it wasn't enough to steal bases with alarming frequency, he had to pair that with a power stroke that threatened the structural integrity of every stadium he visited. He is the ultimate paradox, a player who operates at full throttle, yet makes it all look so effortless, so unburdened by the weight of expectation or the difficulty of the task at hand. This isn't just about hitting a ball far or running fast, it's about the conscious, deliberate decision to defy limits, to push the boundaries of what a single human being can accomplish on a baseball field, and to do it with an infectious joy and swagger that only adds to the legend. He didn't just meet expectations, he packed them up, sent them to a remote island, and then decided to set entirely new ones, just for himself. It's the kind of season that makes you wonder if baseball itself is just a simulation, and Acuña Jr. is the player character who found the admin panel. But here's the kicker, the truly unsettling thought that keeps opposing managers awake at night, tossing and turning in a cold sweat. We've talked about the cheat codes, the physics-defying throws, the statistical impossibilities. We've marveled at the seemingly effortless way he rewrites the record books, leaving a trail of bewildered opponents in his wake. Yet, what if the most surprising, almost creepy moment in the Ronald Acuña Jr. narrative isn't something he's already done? What if it's the unnerving, gut-wrenching realization that we might still be watching the opening act, the prologue to an even more astonishing story? Think about it. The 40-70 season, the MVP award, the sheer dominance that captivated an entire sport, these were his magnum opus, his crowning achievement, right? Or, were they merely a casual flex, a public service announcement to the rest of the league, delivered with a smile and a bat flip, that he was merely getting started? The truly chilling prospect, the thing that gives you goosebumps despite the sunny disposition he typically exudes, is the idea that he hasn't even reached his peak yet. That the elite athleticism we admire, the raw power we gasp at, the blazing speed that seems to warp time and space, that all of it, every single breathtaking component, still has room to grow, to sharpen, to become even more terrifyingly effective. It's the subtle, almost imperceptible way he seems to constantly be evolving, finding new layers to his game, adding new nuances to his already devastating arsenal. Like a video game character that continually unlocks new abilities you didn't even know existed. The creepiest part isn't a single, shocking play, but the sustained, relentless, almost inevitable march of progress from a player who appears fundamentally incapable of stagnation. He's not just chasing records, he's designing them, crafting new benchmarks that only he seems equipped to reach. The truly surprising revelation, therefore, is the quiet, almost terrifying certainty that the best of Ronald Acuña Jr. might still be lurking just around the corner, waiting for the perfect moment to unleash another wave of statistical impossibility upon an unsuspecting league. It's the ghost in the machine, the phantom menace of future records, and it's a prospect that should send shivers down the spine of every pitcher, every manager, and every general manager who has to contemplate how in the world you even begin to prepare for that. It's the uncanny valley of athletic performance, where what's real and what's merely theoretical blurs into a thrilling, yet deeply unsettling, display of unparalleled talent. And believe it or not, when it comes to game changers like Ronald Acuña Jr., that's just one of them.